Conservative new media viewers and Jeremy Lin fans around the world, what is up? It's me, PFE, Paul F. Hilario, the NBA expert, and we are here to talk about Houston's 110-104 double overtime victory tonight against the Toronto Raptors in Houston, Texas. Now, this is going to be the long video about the game. We did a short video earlier about the game. You can find that on our channel, and I will also try to put a link for the video in the comments below the video player, so you can just go from here and just go check it out that way if you'd like to do that. With the victory, Houston improves to 5-3 on the season. Also, let me say that JDV did a video about this game as well. Also, go to our channel to check that out. And let me just start out by saying this. Man, that was just, that's it. That's the Jeremy that we know. That's the Jeremy that we saw in New York. That's the Jeremy that we saw a number of different times last year. Linsanity was reborn tonight. Jeremy dominated this game in the second half. Absolutely dominated it. And he saved Houston. This was not a pretty game. And, Houston came close to losing this game, and it would have been a very, very bad loss. Jeremy was phenomenal in the third quarter, in overtime, and second overtime. He was good in the fourth quarter, too, but he was even better in those three corners. Now, let me just say here, in the last video, I yawned about 100 times. Let me just say this real quickly. If you hear me yawn, it's just because my breathing is messed up right now with sinus problems. So if I yawn, I'm not bored. That's just what it is. Kevin McHale was fair tonight with Jeremy. I know some people are mad about the stuff late in the game. We'll get to that. He knew Jeremy was playing well, and he stayed with him. I know Patrick Beverley got into foul trouble, and he kind of had to put Jeremy in, but once he saw how Jeremy was playing, he stayed with him. Look, that's what we want to see. We want Jeremy to be treated fairly, and tonight he was. So that's really, really good. As I said, Houston almost blew this game in the second half. Toronto came back, and it looked like, oh man, we're going through the Lakers game all over again. Fortunately, Jeremy was there to help save the day, and he did save it. Now, Houston still has structural issues on their team. And what I mean by that is the pieces don't fit, and there are still things that you can do against them, which you saw Toronto do late in this game. Meaning you don't want to give Dwight the ball if you're Houston because he might miss foul shots. And you can just run a double team at James Harden. Well, then what do? You double team Harden. You know Dwight can't touch the ball. Well, what are you going to do then? Well, that's where somebody like Jeremy is so critical. And it also could mean that Omer Asik's on the way out. And we noticed in the game tonight that in the second half, they didn't start with the Twin Towers. They started, I believe, with Terrence Jones as opposed to Omer Asik. So I think there's a very good chance that the Twin Tower experiment isn't going to last a whole lot longer. And that Omer might be heading to another team. Terrence Jones was strong tonight. He was good. He actually got more playing time than Omri Caspi did, and he earned it. He played a good game tonight. He's got an amazing amount of talent. You could see that tonight. He's a big guy. He's extremely athletic. If he can just focus and develop, keep working, he could really be an important part of this team, including this year. And that's what you saw tonight. Francisco Garcia was out of this game with, I think, like flu-like symptoms. Apparently, there's some illness going around the team, and Francisco apparently was hit the hardest by it. And so he did not play in this game. He was not available to play. Well, that's another reason why Terrence Jones got some run in this game. Houston became the first team tonight of the season to out-rebound Toronto. Toronto's a great rebounding team. And Houston was able to beat them on the boards by, I think, about 8 rebounds. That's a good accomplishment. There weren't any drama issues tonight. I know that James Harden took the last shot in regulation and Jeremy was wide open, but no drama tonight. And that's really good to see. Didn't see people yelling at each other. Didn't see a lot of nonsense. We'll talk about that more in a second. Okay, let's go to some statistics here quickly. Patrick Beverley began the game, and he had a tough game. This wasn't Patrick's best night, but it happens. He's a young player. He's new to the NBA. Just like Jeremy, it's going to be ups and downs. Patrick was great against the Clippers in the last game, while tonight was a tougher game. He finished with 1 point, 3 rebounds, no assist, 0-5 from the field, 24 minutes played, 0-4 from three-point range. His efficiency number was -4, and he had 3 turnovers, 4 personal fouls. He got in some foul trouble in this game. He was plus-minus, was a +4, though, so that's good. Look, Jeremy was there to pick him up. This is one of the reasons why you have multiple point guards who can start, because sometimes one guy has it and one guy doesn't. Fortunately, Jeremy had it tonight, and he finished with 31 points, 5 rebounds, 0 assists, played 46 minutes, shot 10 of 17 from the field, including 3 of 6 from three-point range, 8 of 9 from the free throw line, 2 steals, 1 block, 5 turnovers. Plus-minus was a +6. His efficiency was 26, which is phenomenal. Kyle Lowry, who was the starting point guard for the Toronto Raptors, finished with 16 points, 2 rebounds, 2 assists. He played 48 minutes. He fouled out of this game late on a nice play by Patrick Beverley, and his efficiency number was 7. The reserve point guard for the Toronto Raptors, whose name is escaping me at this moment. It's Dwight Bikes. Finished with 5 points, 3 rebounds. His efficiency number was 3 for the game. So Jeremy was far and away the best point guard in this game. Wasn't even close. Now, Kyle Lowry got hot late. Hit a couple threes against Jeremy, but overall, Jeremy was just miles ahead of every other point guard that played in this game. And Jeremy was the second most efficient player in the game, I believe, for both teams, behind only Dwight. Dwight did have a big night, particularly rebounding. He finished with 18 points and 24 rebounds. He also had 5 block shots. Dwight came to play, and he played extremely well. James Harden was playing hurt. I believe he has bruises on both of his feet, but he still finished with 26 points, 3 rebounds, and 10 assists. He did end up with 6 turnovers, but he played well, and he played well, but he needed to play well. His efficiency number was 23 for the game. All right, let's turn to Jeremy specifically here. Look, Jeremy showed everything that he's about in this game. Everything. We've heard all the stuff, and he's not any good, and Chris Paul destroyed him, and he didn't get much done against the Clippers in the second game. Well, tonight was the night. This is what he does. This is who he is. And one more time for Doubter Nation, if you didn't get it the first 10 times, Linsanity wasn't a fluke. Jeremy's capable of doing this a lot. He might not get the chance to do it a bunch of times going forward this year, but he's capable of doing it. This is who he is. I'm not surprised by this because I've seen him do it before. I saw him do it in New York, and I saw him do it last year against teams like the San Antonio Spurs or the Oklahoma City Thunder. He can do this. This is the player that he is. As I mentioned, Dwight was probably a little more impactful in this game than Jeremy, but Jeremy was very clutch down the stretch. Again, it's very difficult to give the ball to Dwight late in the game, and we know that. But when Akeem Olajuwon's talking about how powerful Dwight and Jeremy can be together, this is kind of a part of what he's talking about. Now, Akeem was talking about those two playing together and like pick and roll stuff, but tonight you had a powerful 1-2-3 punch with Dwight, James, and Jeremy. And this is it, man. I mean, this is what it can be when it's going strong. Now, I told you guys before, during the summer, when we talked about Jeremy improving his shooting, said that when Jeremy's able to shoot well, his scoring's going to go through the roof. This is what I was talking about. When Jeremy is able to make perimeter shots and hit threes, then you get nights like tonight. And you can get nights like tonight fairly consistently. Jeremy's not going to score 31 points a game, but you'll see more big scoring nights like this. Even when you're facing a shot block or whatever, because now you can hit outside shots. Well, what are you going to do? Especially on a team like this, when you have attention on Dwight and James, you can't double team Jeremy, which means if he's hitting shots, you're toast. And he's going to light it up, which is exactly what happened tonight. Jeremy did not play a perfect game. He still has to be careful of the turnovers, although a couple of them weren't bad at all, and we'll talk about it in quarter by quarter. But he didn't have any assists, although some of those, he could have had a few assists. But it wasn't a perfect game. So this doesn't mean that he's a perfect, polished, finished player now. He's not. He still has to work on some things, including the turnovers. But he played great tonight, and there's no question about it. As I said, Mikhail was fair tonight. He was fair tonight to Jeremy, and that's what we want. I mean, this is what we want to see. And tonight we saw it. I mean, Jeremy played 46 minutes in this game of a possible 58. So he only sat out for 12 minutes. That's it. That's it. It almost doesn't matter if Jeremy starts, if he finishes, if he plays like this. Now, I know that Chandler fouled out, and if he hadn't fouled out, and I was wrong about I said it incorrectly in the short video. I know that if Chandler didn't foul out, Jeremy might not have come back in, but he did come back in. And by coming back in, he shows again that he can come out and close out games. So the reason why, as the announcer said, if you were listening to the Houston feed, and they probably said it on the Toronto feed as well, excuse me, there's one of the yawns I was talking about. They took Jeremy out for defense, meaning they put Patrick in to guard Kyle Lowry because Kyle Lowry started getting really hot late in the game. Jeremy didn't do a bad job against Kyle Lowry, but if you have the lead and you want to hold the lead, well, if the other point guard gets hot, then you might put Patrick in, and that's why I put him in. And one of those times was offense for defense, meaning Houston was on defense, he put Patrick in, and then he put Patrick out and put Jeremy back in once Houston went on offense. That type of thing happens. And when you have two point guards like this that have different skill sets, you're going to see that. That's going to happen. And I know Jeremy wasn't happy when Mikhail took him out, and I don't blame him. But you understand why it happens. If you've got a guy on the bench that's supposed to be really good on defense and the other point guard's going well, then put in the defensive guy. And that's what he did. But it worked out. Chandler fouled out. Jeremy's back in. Everything ended up great. And that's it. And tonight, Jeremy proved he should be on the floor. So I'm not worried about it. I'm not worried about it. In time, Jeremy will be able to prove even more. It worked out just fine tonight, and it's cool. Jeremy shot the ball with confidence tonight. So whatever was going on with his shooting elbow, whatever, seems to be a lot better. He didn't hesitate at all on any of his shots. None of them. And that's really, really good to see. So if you didn't watch this game, you should go and watch it, because it was great to watch if you're a Jeremy Lin fan. Particularly if you can't watch the whole game, watch the second half of the game. You'll enjoy it, and it's worth it. And whoever's making the highlight videos, blind on these guys, it's going to have to be like a 15-minute video, because Jeremy was just crushing. It was great. Okay, let's do some quarter by quarter. I'm just looking at my notes here really quickly. Yeah, I saw Patrick and Jeremy kind of embraced before the game. That was nice. Like I said, these guys get along. There's no drama between them. They have similar stories in a lot of ways. Not perfectly similar. I know Patrick was drafted out of college and Jeremy wasn't. Patrick got a scholarship to D1, I think, and Jeremy didn't. It's not exactly the same. But remember, Patrick went through some tough times in terms of his basketball career after he was drafted. It didn't work out, and he was in Europe for a bit, and now he's back. So give Patrick credit. Give Patrick credit. They like each other on and off the court, and I think it's great. I like Patrick, like, as I've said, and I'm glad to see them that they get along well. So that's really good to see. Okay, Jeremy came into the game with the score 15-13 Toronto. And there was 4 minutes and 53 seconds left, in the first quarter. So Houston, again, didn't get off to a great start. They didn't get off to a terrible start, but they didn't exactly soar right from the opening tip either. Now, I noticed early in this game that the ball did not look like it was going to Jeremy. And what I mean by that is it didn't look like the team wanted to pass him the ball. Now, let me tell you something about that. Jeremy had a number of turnovers in the last game. Okay? If the team isn't comfortable with you and they're not sure you're going to make good decisions, you're not going to get the ball. So I know people will say, well, they're freezing out Jeremy and they don't like Jeremy. Nah, I don't. That's not true. As you could see later on in this game when the ball was going to Jeremy. It's about earning the trust of the team. Now, is it fair that Jeremy has to earn the trust? Honestly, it is in some ways, because he's turning the ball over a lot in the last game. That's just how it goes. Maybe in a couple years and Jeremy's a little bit more established, that won't happen. For now, it's probably going to be moment to moment and game to game. And I'm okay with that because it's fair. Jeremy made some decisions in the last game that weren't great. And he tried to do a little bit too much. Well, the team knows that. The teammates know that. So you might have a little bit of this, but it'll get better. As Jeremy plays and he plays like the way he did tonight, then he's going to get the ball more. And the guys are going to be quicker to pass him the ball. So, great. Okay, late in the first, Jeremy almost had a steal in a nice play, and he got to go and talk with Landry Fields, who plays for Toronto now. So that was a nice little reunion. Jeremy had a defensive lapse where he it wasn't actually his fault, but Toronto set a pick for Kyle Lowry, and Jeremy went underneath the pick, and Kyle Lowry hit a three. We've talked about this before. If you get a pick set on you, and the guy who had the pick set for him is a shooter, don't go underneath the screen. Go over the screen so that you can put more pressure on the shooter. It was a tough shot. It was a good shot by Kyle. So it wasn't like Jeremy was so bad. It just go over the screen against a shooter. Then Jeremy had a nice buzzer-beating 19-footer off of a fake. So he hit a 19-foot jump shot and he had a nice little fake before he put the shot up, and it was just a great shot. And Clyde Drexler, who we have criticized before in this space, said, "This is the best I've seen Jeremy Lin shoot consistently in his career." Clyde had a lot of nice things to say about Jeremy tonight, so we criticize him when we don't like what he says. We got to praise him when he says things that we like or that we agree with, and he was very good about that tonight. Then late in the first as well, Jeremy had a turnover. He was trying to get the ball to James Harden, and the defender was playing in front of James Harden. That is called fronting your man on defense. The reason why you front a man is to try to deny him getting the ball. So instead of guarding him once he already has the ball, you're trying to deny him from getting the ball in the first place. And it worked really well in the play. Jeremy tried to get the ball in between Harden and the basket, but the pass was a little bit off. And it was a tough pass. I mean, it was not an easy play to make, and unfortunately, Jeremy got a turnover on it. Then Jeremy missed a three-point attempt from about 35 degrees to the right of the top of the arc. Good shot. He was in rhythm, just didn't go in. Then Jeremy, right at the buzzer of the first quarter, had played very good defense against Kyle Lowry, and he forced Lowry to miss a three-point shot. At the end of the first quarter, Jeremy had 2 points, no rebounds, no assists. He was 1 of 2 on field goal attempts, including 0 of 1 from three-point range, and his efficiency was 0. Jeremy began the second quarter on the court with Patrick Beverley and James Harden, I believe. So this was the small ball alignment. Early in the second, Jeremy drove to the basket, had a nice pass off to Terrence Jones. Terrence Jones went up for the shot and was fouled, and I believe got 2 free throws. So again, Jeremy had no assist. That easily could have been 1 assist right there, but Terrence was fouled instead of making the shot, so it doesn't record as an assist. Clyde Drexler then said that it was a great pass by Jeremy, and again, Clyde praising Jeremy, and he's right, it was a great pass. Jeremy then missed a layup on a lefty layup. It was a good move. I think he was going right to left towards the basket. It just a little bit too hard off the basket. It was a nice attack, though. He had a good angle. It just was a little bit hard on the shot. Then Jeremy blocked Landry Fields in close to the basket. So Jeremy had a nice little block against his old friend close into the hoop. Then Jeremy played excellent defense to deny a Toronto three-point attempt. Still early in the first, Jeremy had a steal, first steal of the game. This actually came, sometimes Jeremy will get steals when he's playing the passing lanes, meaning when the ball is being passed from one player to the next. This was just a steal because of great positional defense against Jeremy's man. He just got where his man was, beat him to the spot, and poked the ball away, and it was a terrific, terrific play. Then Jeremy, more good defense, helped out to guard, I believe, Omri Caspi's man. Jeremy then shot and hit a technical free throw. I believe Toronto, it was either, I can't remember if somebody got a technical. It might have been that, or else it was like illegal defense. I think somebody got a technical. Might have been DeMar DeRozan for like arguing about a call or something. Then Jeremy drove to the basket. This is still early in the second. And he went up for came out from under the basket, went up for one of his little pivot fadeaways, but it was an air ball because DeMar DeRozan was all over him. DeMar DeRozan is an incredible athlete, and I mean, he jumped up like way, way, way up. And Jeremy just wasn't prepared for that, and so it ended up being an air ball. Then Jeremy made a nice cut to the basket on an inbounds play, I believe. He received the ball, cut to the basket, got the ball, and was fouled while going up for the shot. And he got 2 free throws, made both of them, and both Patrick Beverley and Terrence Jones helped him up. So we've heard stuff about nobody's helping Jeremy up when he gets hit. Well, both of those guys helped him on that. After Jeremy made both free throws, Clyde Drexler complimented him again and said that Jeremy is shooting an excellent free throw percentage this year, which isn't completely true. Jeremy's shooting maybe, after tonight, he's probably up around 80%, which is pretty good. But coming into the game, he was about 75%, which is, it's good. It's not incredible. But look, Clyde was giving out compliments. Great. Patrick had to leave the game and with about 6 minutes and 45 seconds left in the second because he picked up his third foul. So once Patrick got that third foul, Jeremy then shifted to point guard. And I don't remember who came in for him, but I believe James Harden then went to shooting guard. Somebody came in, either small forward or power forward. So small ball was done at that point, I believe. Then Jeremy in the middle of the second got his second steal of the game. Jonas Valanciunas, I believe, got a rebound, an offensive rebound, and then Jeremy stripped the ball away from him. So that was really, really good. Jeremy then was talking with James Harden as Toronto was shooting free throws. So you see guys do this. They're kind of planning strategies, this type of things. Soon after this, Jeremy was beaten on a Bikes, the backup point guard. He did a backdoor cut, meaning he kind of fooled Jeremy, ran behind Jeremy, got a pass off of that cut, and then he, I believe, either Bikes scored and was fouled, or else his cut led to somebody else scoring and fouling. So this was a mistake by Jeremy, and it's just an awareness on defense mistake. But it's not the end of the world. Those plays happen. You have to be aware of where the ball is and where your man is, and try to keep yourself between your man and the basket. And just that didn't happen on that particular play. Late in the second, Jeremy almost got his third steal of the game, but he didn't. I don't think they credited him for it. I do not remember the play, but I have it recorded that he almost did that. Then Jeremy drew a foul on Jonas Valanciunas, I believe on Valanciunas setting an illegal pick. That was number 3 foul on Valanciunas, and then he had to sit down. Also on the play, Jeremy was elbowed in the nose and got a bloody nose, so he had to put some gauze up in his nose, which we know Jeremy gets bloody quite a bit. Then Jeremy had some excellent help defense again, which forced a Toronto miss. Then Jeremy missed a 3-point attempt from the right corner. It was a really, really good shot. Kind of banged around the rim, hit basically all sides of the rim, but it did not go in. Then I put a note that Houston's on a defensive run again with Jeremy on the court. Several times already this season. Once against Portland, once against the Lakers, and maybe against some other teams too. The team has gone on a defensive run, meaning they hold down the opposition to very low points while they're scoring points, Houston is. And a number of those occasions have come with Jeremy in the game. So we hear about his defense, and his defense isn't any good. Well, it's good enough to help Houston get on defensive runs. So that's very, very good to see. Then Jeremy got his first foul of the game. He fouled Landry Fields close to the basket. And going into halftime, Toronto had only scored 13 points in the second quarter. So Houston had really clamped down on defense, a large part of that being when Jeremy was on the floor. Houston led 47-33, so they're up 14 points at halftime. And I made a note that says Houston Stars doing more scoring now. So Dwight and James were controlling most of the action here, I believe, with Chandler also getting a couple plays and Jeremy playing more kind of on the sidelines, which, look, that's going to happen. I mean, that's the way the team is set up, and James Harden was running the point spot a lot, and that's the way it's going to be. So it's okay. That's how it is, and for now. At halftime, Jeremy had 5 points, no rebounds, no assists. He was only 1 of 5 shooting, including 0 of 2 from three-point range. His efficiency, it was 3. So Jeremy hadn't done much yet in this game, but he was about to. So this is basically where we were at heading into halftime here. Now, Jeremy began the third quarter on the bench, and Terrence Jones started the third quarter on the court and not Omer Asik. So basically it was Patrick Beverley, James Harden, Bieber Parsons, Terrence Jones, Dwight Howard. And you're probably going to be seeing more of this type of lineup or variations of it, meaning less Twin Towers with Omer Asik and Dwight Howard in the game, because honestly, it hasn't worked out that great. Nobody's fault, but it's not working. Okay. Jeremy came into the game for Patrick with 7 minutes and 39 seconds left in the third quarter. Houston was up by 15 points at that point, and Patrick had just gotten his 4th foul. So Kevin McHale needed to get him out of the game so they didn't pick up a 5th foul with so much of the game left. Then Jeremy played some very nice defense after he was beaten on a play. Then Jeremy got his 2nd turnover of the game. He tried to pass the ball to Dwight Howard. Honestly, it was a good pass. It looked like a good pass to me. Dwight didn't expect it. And it's just something that's the turnovers that are happening with Dwight and Jeremy, they just need more chemistry. They need more time to work together. And then a lot of those plays won't be turnovers. But they charged the turnover to Jeremy. I'm not sure it should have been called Jeremy's turnover, but it was. Then, soon after that, Jeremy got a nice rebound, really raced up the court, then passed the ball to Caspi, which was not the greatest pass in the world. And honestly, Jeremy lucked out a little bit there. He tried to do a little too much on that play, or tried to go a little too quick before he was ready to do what he did, but it didn't end up in a turnover. However, soon thereafter, Jeremy did get his 3rd turnover of the game on a traveling violation. He tried to make a move. He thought he got fouled, but he took 2 steps after he got hit because he thought he got fouled, but instead of calling a foul, they called a travel instead. So this was a short little turnover bundle here. And to this point in the game, Jeremy wasn't doing much. He had only 5 points and 3 turnovers. And this was about, halfway through the third quarter. But then things were going to get a whole bunch different. and that's when we started going into full-blown insanity. Now, at this point in the third quarter, Toronto was on 11-1 run, and the lead was down to just 7 points. Okay. Jeremy then took an inbounds pass, and he was hit. And this was just a stupid foul by Toronto. I mean, this was like Toronto scored, and Houston was just inbounding the ball. And for some reason, the guy fouled Jeremy. I probably was just trying to go for a steal because Toronto was on a run. So you're thinking, okay, let's see what we can do here. But it was not a smart foul. Toronto was already in the penalty, meaning that even though it was not a shooting foul, Jeremy wasn't in the act of shooting. He still got 2 free throws, and he made both of them. Then Jeremy was talking to DeMar DeRozan, who might have been the person that fouled him, actually. I'm not sure about that. But again, we see Jeremy talking to various players from opposing teams, and this was another such instance. Then Jeremy played excellent help defense against somebody on Toronto whose name I did not mark down. Then Jeremy had a nice outlet pass, meaning Houston got a rebound, Jeremy got the ball, and then he passed it ahead to Chandler, who unfortunately then threw the ball away. Late in the third, Jeremy got his fourth turnover. Jeremy drove the ball towards the basket on the left-hand side of the lane. And he saw James Harden wide open in the left corner for a three. Unfortunately, the Toronto defender read the play, and he thought Jeremy was going to pass it to Harden, and that's what Jeremy did, and the Toronto defender was sitting there waiting for it. So this was in transition. It was not. I'm not worried about that turnover. The same way I'm not worried about the turnover of Dwight Howard. Both of those were good plays. It's just Toronto made a better play, and they intercepted the pass there. Then Jeremy dove for the ball like the ball was down on Toronto's offensive side. And Jeremy dove for the ball like going out of bounds, and he got fouled, which was great. So he got 2 more free throws, and he made both of them. Then Jeremy had a rebound late in the third. Then Jeremy hit a 3-point shot from straight on towards the basket in transition. It was just a great play. James Harden saw Jeremy, hit him right with a pass. Jeremy just stepped right into the shot and then drilled it. And I put a note there that said, he's grooving now, even with the turnovers. This is his type of style. The game was being played with a pace now. And Jeremy's going to make some turnovers like this. Now he can get better at it, and he needs to get better. But if you get in this type of fast-breaking, up-tempo style, he's going to hurt you if you're the opponent, particularly if he's shooting the ball well, which was happening tonight. So he was grooving. You could see the swag was flowing, and he was rolling. And he was really turning it on now. Then I put Jeremy is locking in on defense now. We've seen him do this year. We saw it against Damian Lillard. We've seen it against other opponents too. I saw it against Jose Calderon and Jamal Tinsley, and he had that look on him now. He was really getting it done on both ends. Then Jeremy was going to make a pass, and he was fouled. But again, since Toronto was in the penalty, more free throws for Jeremy. He missed one of them, and he made the second one of them. Just looking at my stats here really quickly. Excuse me. I'm just looking at this really quickly. Then Toronto would switch to a zone defense. And we've talked about zone defense before. Zone defense just means it's harder for you to make drives to the basket, and you need to be better at shooting from the outside to beat it. So they had gone into this, and it has been effective against Houston before this season. Then Jeremy had a hard drive left for about 45 degrees starting from the left, and he went right to the rim and scored. So like I said, he's grooving now, just rolling at this point in time. Then Jeremy, awesome no-look pass to Omer Asik, who was fouled really, really hard. If he wasn't fouled, it would have been a dunk, and that might have been one of the assists of the night in the entire NBA. And I just said the note, Jeremy in the zone now. He was just dominating, just crushing. Then Jeremy with a great pass to James Harden, who hit a three-pointer and was fouled. So it was great. Then I put Jeremy gets hammered. He was crushed by Tyler Hansbrough, but they didn't make any foul call. I don't know why, but they didn't call a foul. And then it actually was called a jump ball, which I just thought was totally ridiculous. So at the end of 3 quarters, Jeremy had 15 points, 3 rebounds, no assist. And his efficiency was up to 12. His efficiency for the quarter was 9. That's awesome. That's tremendous. In the quarter, he was 5 of 6 from the free throw line. and he hit his first 3 of the game. So I'm trying to think here. But at halftime, he had 5 points. At the end of this quarter, he had 15 points. So he was, 10 points in the quarter, and he was absolutely feeling it at this point. Jeremy began the fourth quarter on the court with Patrick Beverley. Early in the fourth, he drilled a catch-and-shoot three-pointer from right 20 degrees right at the top of the arc in transition. Catch and shoot just means you don't dribble the ball. You're past the ball, you catch it, and you shoot it. And he drilled it, and it was just great. You could see he was feeling it. He was definitely feeling good. I think that was his final three-pointer of the game. Or no, I take that back. It was not his final three-pointer of the game, I don't believe. But he definitely was feeling it and was shooting it with confidence now. Then Jeremy dropped the ball off to Terrence Jones. It almost was a turnover, but it was a great look. Jeremy drove the ball towards the basket and just kind of laid the ball for Terrence Jones. But like Dwight earlier in the game, Terrence Jones didn't expect to get the ball. Fortunately, Houston was able to save it and not become a turnover like the play to Dwight. But again, these plays will become better once the team has more chemistry and they're used to playing with one another and looking for passes. From Jeremy. Then I put a note that McHale played Jeremy a lot tonight because Jeremy's playing well. And this was fair. I said this was fair tonight. McHale was fair tonight, or almost totally fair. You can say whatever about the overtime, whatever, but he was fair tonight. And I put a note that Terrence Jones is playing well, and he definitely was playing well in this game. Then Jeremy drove to the basket, hit a layup, and at that point had 20 points early in the fourth quarter. Clyde Drexler once again praised Jeremy, which was, again, good to hear. Then Jeremy had another great pass in the middle of the fourth to Omer, who unfortunately fumbled away the ball, would have been a dunk. So, again, Jeremy could have had a number of different assists in this game, but it just didn't happen that way. And Jeremy missed a straight-on three-point attempt with the shot clock down low. He had to take the shot. He wasn't perfectly in rhythm, but he did take it. He had to take it, and he missed it. Then McHale took, I believe, Patrick Beverley out of the game with 6 minutes and 50 seconds left. Houston was up by 9, and I put McHale fair, meaning he left Jeremy in the game and he took Patrick out of the game because Jeremy was playing well and Patrick wasn't playing as well. And Clyde Drexler said at that point in time it was good that McHale left Jeremy in and took Patrick out. In other words, if you're going to take one of them out, you should take Patrick out because Jeremy's playing better. And I totally agree with that. And again, this is all we want. Regardless of who starts, go with the guy that's playing the best. Tonight, Jeremy was playing the best. And McHale did the right thing. So give him credit for that. Give him credit for that. If this is how it's going to be, then I don't even care who starts, really. Yeah, I'd like Jeremy to start, but Jeremy's is playing a ton. So that's it. This is what we want to see. Then Jeremy hit a catch-and-shoot two-pointer from about 40 degrees right at the top of the arc, and it was almost a three-pointer, except he had his foot on the three-point line when he shot it. Then I put that Jeremy was again trying to get the ball to James Harden, with Harden's man fronting him on defense. Jeremy made a move, tried to get a little bit in a better position for James to get him the ball, but James got an offensive foul on the play. He was trying to get himself set up, and it just didn't work. So they'll have to work on that stuff, work on the passes there and all, but give Toronto credit. Toronto has some athletic players, and they can make things hard for you on the perimeter if they want to, and they're focused on doing that. Then I put Jeremy lost his man on an offensive rebound play for Toronto. And so his man ended up hitting a three-point shot. And also on that play, Dwight Howard fouled Jonas Valanciunas. So it wasn't a terrible play by Jeremy because the ball was up in the air and he was going and trying to get a rebound. It's not just that he lost his man completely. It was the shot was going up. He was trying to do something with it. Unfortunately, his man stayed on the three-point line. Toronto got the ball, and his man hit a three-point shot. And I don't remember if it was Lowry or Bikes at that point in time. It might have been Bikes. Or it might have been somebody else, actually. Then Jeremy missed a shot in the middle of the fourth with the shot clock low down. The thing that was good about this play was that James Harden got the ball to Jeremy late in the shot clock. In other words, James knew Jeremy was hot shooting the ball, and so he tried to get him the ball. So again, we talk about Jeremy. James won't pass him the ball. Well, he passed him the ball there because he knew Jeremy was shooting the ball well. So I liked a lot of what I saw tonight in that regard. The team didn't start giving the ball to Jeremy at the beginning of the game because he struggled a little bit in last game, but once they knew he was hot, they started getting the ball, and McHale played him a lot because he knew he was playing well. So great. This is exactly what we wanted to see, and that's what we saw. Late in the fourth, Jeremy drew another illegal screen violation against Jonas Valanciunas. I put that Kyle Lowry was trying to take over the game. So he was trying to do well against Jeremy, and he had a couple plays, but nothing incredible. Sorry, just looking at my notes here quickly. Then Kyle Lowry beat Jeremy on a play, so he got by Jeremy. He missed the layup. Did Kyle Lowry, but Toronto got an offensive rebound and tipped the ball in. That made the score 84-84. So the comeback was complete at this point in time. Houston had pretty much collapsed in the second half, despite the play of Jeremy. And now we had a real ball game on our hands, basically. Then I put Jeremy, it got kind of hung up on a pick and roll defense play. So I think it was whoever it was for Toronto, setting a pick to free up Kyle Lowry, I believed. But it wasn't his fault, though he could have played a little bit better defense on that sequence. Then I put Jeremy had good help defense to help stop a Toronto transition play. It was basically him and James Harden. They kind of stripped the ball from whoever it was for Toronto that was trying to go up for a layup. That was a very, very nice play. Then McHale put Patrick Beverley in the game with 34 seconds left, and the score tied 87-87. As I mentioned earlier in the video, that was an offense for defense substitution, meaning Patrick was put in just for the defensive sequence. And then I believe after that, Jeremy was put back in. About at this time, Jeremy was named the player of the game on the Houston telecast. So everybody knew how well he was playing, and he was definitely getting credit for that. Then the play that made some of you annoyed, and I already saw this in the comments of the short video, with the score tied 87-87, and Houston with the ball with about, 5 seconds left or so, James Harden went up for a shot, even though he was contested pretty heavily, and Jeremy was wide open to the right of him. Really wide open. And Jeremy looked like he was calling for the ball, and unfortunately, James Harden missed the shot. But it happens. I mean, that's going to happen because James Harden is the guy, and he's going to want to take shots. Now, if that was LeBron James, Jeremy probably would have gotten the ball. but that's the way it goes, and it's okay. I mean, James is a lot of times supposed to take that shot, so that's what he did. At the end of the fourth quarter, heading into overtime, Jeremy had 22 points, 3 rebounds, and 0 assists, and his efficiency was 17. At the beginning of the first overtime, Jeremy started. So again, McHale was being fair here. He knew Jeremy was playing great, and he stayed with him. Early in the first overtime, Jeremy got a defensive rebound and had a nice pass ahead to Chandler Parsons, who missed a three-pointer. Then Jeremy got his 5th turnover of the game. He went to make a drive to the basket late in the shot clock and was stripped of the ball while dribbling towards the basket. Then he fouled a Toronto player to stop a drive to the basket by them. Then Jeremy hit a three-pointer from about 35 degrees right of the top of the arc, which was, again, a catch-and-shoot play. I don't remember who passed him the ball, but Jeremy caught it perfectly in rhythm and drilled it, which was great to see. Then Jeremy was beaten by Kyle Lowry in the middle of the first overtime, and Kyle missed the shot, I believe, but someone on Toronto tipped in the basket. So Kyle was starting to go to work a little bit on Jeremy on offense. So Jeremy was on defense. It wasn't incredible or whatever, but Lowry was trying to make things happen, and Kyle Lowry's a good player. He's a pretty good player. So again, you're not going to stop perimeter players that are halfway decent from getting to the basket all the time. That's with the way the rules are in the NBA currently. Then Jeremy almost had a steal late in the first overtime. Then they went to a timeout, did Houston, or one of the teams did. I think it was Houston. The score at that time was 93-92, and there was 1:13 left in the first overtime. And James Harden was talking to Jeremy, basically telling him, from what I could see, to shoot the ball whenever they double-team James Harden. In other words, if you're open, shoot it, is what it looked like James was saying, because Jeremy, I think, was trying to get James the ball, just to let James have the ball late in the game and be the guy and everything. But James was telling him, hey, man, just shoot it. That's what it looked like anyway, and that's cool. I mean, that's how you build up chemistry and everything, so good. Then Jeremy had just an incredible layup. He drove to the basket, and I think he went around both his man and the help defender, and it was like this crazy scoop shot. It's almost like his arm did like a 360 in the air. You have to see this, and you will see it in the highlights. And that made the score 95-92. Jeremy had 27 points at that time, and he was rolling. Then Toronto went to a timeout. There was 6 seconds left, and you could see the Rockets talking in a huddle of the timeout, and they were talking about fouling Toronto before Toronto had a chance to shoot a three-pointer. In other words, foul the Toronto and give them 2 free throws rather than letting them shoot a 3 and tie the game. Let them get 2 points rather than 3 points. Unfortunately, Toronto came out of the timeout. Rudy Gay got the ball. They didn't foul him, and he hit a three-pointer. And that basically that tied the game up 85-85, and Houston had less than 1 second for a shot. And Jeremy missed a three-pointer at the buzzer. Or I think it was a three-point attempt. And it looked like the play was done for him. In other words, at the end of regulation, James Harden shot the ball, even though Jeremy was open. On this one, the play looked like it was designed for Jeremy to shoot a 3. He missed it, and it was a rushed shot. I mean, there just was almost no time left to do anything, but Jeremy missed it. But I'm happy because the play looked like it was for him. In other words, the coach is like, hey, this guy's hot. He didn't get to shoot at the end of the regulation. Gave him the ball. And that's what happened. Jeremy just wasn't able to hit it, but it was good. Then Jeremy hit early in the second overtime. He started the second overtime just like he started the first overtime. He had a nice little play right near the top of the arc. Right at the top of straight onto the basket, and he just dribbled in and got his defender going backwards, and he just drilled the shot. I thought it was a three-pointer, but I think, again, he had his foot on the line, and it was just a nice, excellent two-pointer to start the overtime. Then Jeremy was Kyle Lowry hit a three-pointer on him, even though Jeremy played terrific defense on the play. Kyle Lowry hit a shot. Then middle of the overtime, Kyle Lowry hit another three after Toronto set a screen for him. I don't remember how Jeremy played the shot, whether it went under or over the screen, but Kyle Lowry hit the three. So you got to give him credit for that. Then, after those 2 3-pointers by Kyle Lowry, there was 2 minutes and 11 seconds left in the overtime. I don't remember what the score was. But this is when Kevin McHale put Patrick Beverley in the game because he wanted to try to play defense against Kyle Lowry a little bit better and slow him down. Jeremy wasn't happy being taken out of the game, and I don't blame him. Well, this was an offense for defense switch, I believe, because Jeremy came back after that sequence. And unfortunately, he got switched onto Rudy Gay, who was way too tall for Jeremy to guard. And Jeremy fouled Rudy Gay, and Rudy Gay hit the shot. So, again, this was another offense for defense switch. And then he came back in. And it might have been because Chandler Parsons had just fouled out. I don't remember, but whatever, that's the way it worked out. Jeremy got back into the game. Then Patrick got a really, really nice offensive rebound. And on the offensive rebound, Kyle Lowry fouled him. So that was the final foul for Kyle Lowry, who then fouled out of the game. So Patrick didn't have a particularly good game tonight, but that was a big play. And that came with 1 minute 40 seconds left in the second overtime because it got Kyle Lowry out of the game. And Kyle Lowry had just heated up, and now Kyle Lowry was going bye-bye. Late in the second overtime, Jeremy had a nice rebound. Then Jeremy had an awesome left-handed layup, driving left. I think it hit the rim, bounced up high, hit the backboard, and bounced in. And that caused Toronto to take a timeout with the score 108-104 Houston and 33 seconds left. Just a great, gutsy, smart play by Jeremy. Full confidence, going left, shooting left, bang. That was it. That was great. Then as they're going to timeout, Jeremy was pumped up. Patrick Beverley grabbed his head. You could see the team was pumped up, and they were pumped up for Jeremy. And he was just rolling. Just amazing. Finally, Toronto missed, and that was basically it. Essentially, Jeremy's layup there sealed the game. It basically, that was all she wrote for Toronto at that point. And the final score, as I said before, I believe was 110-104. And Jeremy, as mentioned, finished with 31 points. It's just tremendous. Okay, the summary for the game. This was a very huge win for Houston after they blew the game to the Lakers, lost the game to the Clippers in the second half. They were well in control of that game, and then they blew that game just like they blew the Lakers game. They couldn't afford to lose this game after having a big halftime lead. And thankfully, Jeremy came through huge, as did Dwight Howard and James Harden. Linsanity was fully reborn tonight. Completely reborn. Jeremy once again showed he is super clutch and showed everything that he's about. There's no more, no small sample sizes, none of this stuff. there's been 8 games so far this year, right? Jeremy's played steadily or better in 7 of them. There's no more flukes. There's no more any of this talk. Jeremy's not going to score 31 points every night, but he can put up points every single night. And this is it. This is who he is. I'm not worried about the starter or the bench thing. If Mikhail is fair like he was tonight, then I don't even care. Sure, I want Jeremy to start, but it doesn't matter. He finished tonight. And he played an incredible number of minutes tonight. And this is what it's all about. The team was fair to Jeremy by getting him the ball, including running the play for him at the end of the first overtime. More fairness. Good. Jeremy does still have things to work on, even though he played a great game tonight, particularly the turnovers, and continue to work on your defense, although Kyle Lowry just hit some big shots. This is an awesome night for Jeremy Lin fans. There's no question about it. This was a great clutch performance. He's the hero. Everybody knows it. He's getting credit, and he deserves to get credit, which leads us, of course, to say, woo! I love it. Okay. Thank you to Gary Chen, the blogger and artist from Taiwan, for the artwork you're looking at now. We really appreciate his work and all the kindness by various members of the Jeremy Only Lin Garden fan club towards myself and John, of which Gary Chen is one of those members. If this video and or the short video are translated into Mandarin, meaning translated into the Chinese language by our friend, we will put information about that in the video description as soon as that becomes available. Also, we'll put it on Twitter and probably put a link for the translation as well in the comments themselves, now that YouTube allows live links. I don't know how long I'm going to stay up tonight. I am a little bit out of it, as I said, with my sinus stuff. So I will try to get into the comments, and I will come down there for a bit, but I'm not going to stay up forever tonight. Also, as I mentioned, I will put information, a link for the short video as well, probably in the comments. So if you want to check out the short video, you can do that as well. Okay, the next game is against the Philadelphia 76ers in Philadelphia. That game will take place on Wednesday, November 13th in the United States at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. That is the 9th game of the season. So the game will take place on Thursday, November 14th at 8 a.m. in Taipei, Taiwan. It is currently 1:40 a.m. early on Tuesday, November 12th. On the East Coast of the United States, which means it is 2:40 p.m. on Tuesday, November 12th, 2013 in Taipei, Taiwan. Thumbs up, thumbs down, your comments below. We've got a whole bunch to talk about. I know you guys are pumped up just like I am. This is just a great night. Tell us all about it in the comments below. Come and join us on the Conservative New Media Facebook group, which has over 2,500 members and counting. Also, come and join us and follow us on the CNM Jalen Vids Twitter account. You will find information for both of those in the video description below the video player. Once again, I am PFE Paul Villarreal, the NBA expert. Thanks a lot for watching Conservative New Media. We strive to be the #1 Jeremy Lin YouTube fan channel. Awesome night. I'm just so proud and happy for Jeremy. This is what he is. It's like I'm not even surprised. I'm honestly kind of blasé. I've seen this before, but I'm happy I'm seeing it now. Especially this whole thing. Jeremy's a bench player. Well, this is what he can do. And he can do this often. We've seen it. We've seen it now over 3 different seasons, him doing this type of thing. It's not a coincidence. It's not a fluke. It's not anything. Again, if anything, this is going to be more likely to happen because of how well he's shooting the ball from the outside, from the perimeter, not just 3-pointers, but from long 2-pointers. This is it. This is what he's capable of doing. And I think we're going to see more shooting like this. And his scoring is going to be, you'll see scoring like this if he gets fouled a lot, and if his outside shot is hitting, and if he's able to convert on his layup attempts, and if he gets enough field goal attempts. If he does, and those things happen, you're going to see points like this. He's capable of doing this. This is what he is and who he is. So I'm thrilled. I know you guys are pumped. This is big-time vindication for Jeremy Lin Fan Club Nation. And I love it. I can't wait. Let's go. Let's move on. I'm going to soak in all the good vibes for tonight, and it's onwards to Philadelphia. Let's keep it rolling. As I said, Jeremy's played 7 good games out of 8 this year. Let's just keep on moving. Okay. Hope everybody's having a great day, a great night, wherever you are around the world when you check out this video. Take care of yourselves, and we will talk to you again soon.